Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining today for the Better Business Bureau here in southern Wisconsin is our friend Tiffany Schultz, back for 2024 tips, tricks, and everything else in between.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. How long can you say Happy New Year before it gets old?
I say the month of January.
See, there's a lot of people like, it's over already. I'm like, it's a new year.
We're only a few days in.
I say if you see the person for the first time, in the month of January, why not?
I say go for it.
I say you're right. And we are not here to talk about that. We're going to be talking about tax scams today. Right after you turn into the new year, like, oh man, it's already going to be tax season. Yeah. But we want you to be prepared, because guess what? Scammers are still out there. They're still finding ways of scamming people, even in 2024. I know it's like we're 4 days in, but it still happens. So what's BBB saying this year as we get into the tax season?
Every year, tax scams pop up. Scammers follow the news. They follow the trends. What's out there? What are consumers doing? Well, they're filing taxes, right? They are going ahead and they're collecting all of those fun documents that you get in the mail, and it's their opportunity to usually pose as the IRS. And that's kind of how these tax scams really fall, and they always have an IRS play into it. So there's a few different versions of these tax scams that can pop up. The first one is that an IRS agent reaches out to you unsolicited. Now that's a key word. We talk about it all the time, unsolicited. If you have not reached out to the IRS, they won't be calling you. But in this case, the IRS agent, quote unquote, reaches out and tells you that you owe back taxes. And they are looking for you to go ahead and provide a credit card and pay those back taxes. They may threaten you if you don't pay.
Prepaid debit card, wire transfer, the classic gift card.
They're looking for money.
It's the same scam all the time. It just kills me that still works. It still works. That's the part that bugs me, is it still works.
And it may have a different twist, too. A little bit different twist. Maybe you owe back taxes from several years ago, or maybe they want to, take care of it before it does become a problem. The scammer always likes to play with your emotions.
I was going to say, usually you hit on the key words, unsolicited, high pressure, and then the payment part. You're like, if those three things don't tip you off, I don't know what's going to tip you off from staying ahead of it. Mm-hmm. The other scam's kind of interesting, too, about issuing you a tax refund. Wait, refund? This is a good thing, right?
Well, again, they are trying to capture information from you, and in this case, they want to capture your personal information. So if they're issuing money, they need information, right? They may need your bank account information, they may need your social security number, they may need your address, and they're not issuing you a refund. They're capturing your personal information to scam you later. And
again, unsolicited, right? This is unsolicited, high pressure, like catching you in that moment. Could be a phone, could be an email. It comes in different forms, but the things that stand out for you for stopping these is those three things I talked about: unsolicited, high pressure, and then just the weird information that they're asking that shouldn't happen.
The IRS will never reach out to you without you contacting them first. If you haven't reached out to them and you get a phone call out of the blue or an email or a text message, just go ahead and delete, because it's likely a scam.
So what are some other ways that you can just avoid tax scams? So you say here, file early as possible. Why would you want to do that?
File your taxes early so a scammer does not have the opportunity to file taxes in your name. Many times scammers will have enough information to file a return. They get your return and you don't find out about it until you get notified from the IRS that a duplicate tax return has been filed in your name, or maybe you're even receiving a W-2 from an employer that you've never worked for.
Yeah, that's a good way to kind of be on top of it for a lot of reasons. Don't be late, but more importantly, you can avoid any possible scams. I haven't heard of this one. Opt in for our identity protection PIN. Is that something new?
It's not new. It's been around for a while, and your tax preparer may or may not use it. It's an identity protection PIN, and it's issued by the IRS. If you start using that PIN, you have to continue to use that PIN. It matches up with your social security number. So every year you need to file with it, and at the beginning of the year, the IRS will send you a new PIN. And that's to protect your identity, to make sure that you are the one filing the tax return and not somebody else.
That's interesting. You should ask your tax preparer about that, and about choosing a trustworthy tax preparer. Another good way of helping you, but make sure they're legit.
This is super important. Not every tax preparer has the same credentials or experience. You want to make sure that you are working with a tax preparer who has experience in your situation. If you're a business owner, you probably need somebody more experienced than just filing as an individual. So if you don't have a tax preparer or you don't know who you can trust, start your search at bbb.org. It's okay to call tax preparers and ask them these questions. You also want to find out what the filing fees are with a tax preparer. Some may be more than others. The lowest price is not necessarily the best price.
It doesn't seem right to take the lowest price necessarily on getting your tax work done, but just my personal opinion. Finally, if you do think you've been part of identity theft, you're worried about, you may have been involved with a scam, what would you recommend people do?
If you've been a victim of identity theft, you should reach out to the IRS and the FTC. There's some great resources on identitytheft.org. identitytheft.gov.
Not an easy one to say, but more importantly, a good place to check out. And the FTC as well, the Federal Trade Commission, has so many great resources out there as well, helping you stay up on scams, but also reporting these things, which is so important as well.
And many times, if you've been a victim of identity theft, it takes a long time to get out from underneath it. So if you're suspecting it, you want to start that process sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one. All right, well, if people want to learn more about scams, tax scams, or just BBB in general, how can they find you?
We have great content on bbb.org. Not only do we have this topic, but we have an entire hub for tax-related content this year.
Fantastic. Well, we'll check it out and look forward to working with you again this year.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.